Good afternoon, welcome inside another edition of That's What I Think with Brandon Swanson. I'm your fearless host, Brandon Swanson, and I am here today telling you that the NFL did something good. Yes, believe it or not, the NFL, led by the sackless Roger Goodell, did something good today. All 32 NFL owners, unanimous obviously, voted to approve the new simplified catch rule. And we as fans of the NFL, huge fans of the NFL, know too well that this controversial catch rule has really been terrible. It has led to a lot of disgruntled fans, disgruntled players, coaches, league officials for way too many years. And also it has led to causing games to end in one way or another. And that just should not happen if we can avoid it, which we can. And finally, the NFL taking steps to do just that. So that's very exciting. But two games, I can tell you specifically, and two catches, we're always going to remember during the controversial catch rule era. Dez Bryant's catch versus the Packers in the playoffs a couple of years ago, which under this new rule would have been ruled a catch. And then Jesse James versus the Patriots earlier this season, where it should have been a touchdown and led to the Pittsburgh Steelers winning. But both of those are in the past. We have to look ahead to the future. So that's just to name a few. I mean, we've had multiple others. Calvin Johnson involved in a couple himself when he was playing for the Detroit Lions. We do have to give it to the NFL, though. And we certainly do have to give it to Roger Goodell for bringing this up, for saying that this is important. We need to be able to talk about this. We need to be able to get to a spot where this catch rule is no longer something that we talk about week after week after week after week, because that's all that we talked about, it seems like, for too many weeks on end. We just have to start talking about something else, something that's not so controversial in terms of what is a catch, what is not a catch. We're seeing that the league could not continue with the way that it was going, with the catch rule, the way that it was not going to continue in a positive direction. And the NFL, certainly with all the things that happened around it this past season, with especially its ratings kind of plummeting for one reason or another, they need to try and get things as clear, cut, and dry as they possibly can. And I think with this new rule, that's exactly what they're trying to do. So you're probably asking, what is the freaking rule? I'd love to tell you, and I will. So the rule will eliminate the requirement to maintain control of the ball throughout the process of going to the ground. This whole, well, did he have possession as he's going to the ground type of thing? Well, you could sit there and you could debate that back and forth. Multiple referees could look at it a different way and say, okay, this is what I think, and they could all be different. And that's also one of the reasons why, even with replay, it made it difficult, because in some games it'd be like this, in some games it'd be like that. So that is gone. Instead, it will define a catch with 3 simple rules. The receiver must control the ball. That one is first and foremost, that's pretty simple. That's very, very easy. Having control of the football. I actually think that's more simple than one might think. It's pretty clear to me if you have control of the football. Establish yourself in bounds. So you have to have 2 feet in bounds. Another thing that you can look at with replay and see pretty easily if the receiver's in bounds. And then finally, perform a football move, whether that is a lunge, whether that's a third step. All of those things have to happen to be called a catch. I think that's pretty simple. I truly do. I think that the NFL may have it right on this one. And yes, will there still be calls and will there still be plays where we look at and we go, we're going to have to take a long look at this one. But I still think that it's going to be easier to get the call correct than not. Before it was this whole, well, did he maintain possession going to the ground, blah, blah, blah. No, who knows if he maintained possession going to the ground. But you can tell if a receiver has control of the football. You can tell if a receiver is in bounds. And you can tell if a receiver made a football move. How many times have we said, especially in the two cases and examples that I gave with Dez Bryant and then with Jesse James, did we see they made a football move? They had the football, they made a football move. It should have been a catch. It was ruled not a catch. After further review, now hopefully we'll be able to do away with that. And Dean Blandino, he did come out and he said that, hey, now we're going to be arguing and it's going to be a controversy over whether they made a football move. But I would tend to disagree with that. I think it's pretty easy to see if they made a third step or if they were lunging with the football. So this is a huge step for the NFL. I think this is going to be a really good thing. I think we're going to see this really have an impact in this next season. This is going to be big, only because this has really plagued the NFL for the last couple of seasons, and it's been what we've been talking about. That's been the number one hot topic, and finally we have brought it. Roger Goodell and the league has brought it to the table. All NFL owners, 32 NFL owners, again, a unanimous vote saying that this rule needed to be changed, and it did. And I think that by all NFL owners saying that it needed to be changed and jumping on board, clearly it's been going on for way too long. But also a couple of, I think a couple of other rule changes as well. They're now, I always thought that they were doing this, but they are completely implementing. If it's a touchback, it's the ball at the 25-yard line. I guess they were just trying that one out. It's now official. And then also by lowering your helmet and hitting with the crown of the helmet, that is going to be a foul now as well. Again, another thing that I always kind of thought was a penalty, but that as well. So the NFL definitely taking steps this offseason to ensure that I think, one, with player safety, two, with making sure that games aren't decided by one controversial call. And they can't be, because I mean, how many times have we gotten upset in other sports when that happens? With baseball, for sure. That cannot determine how a game ends up going, and officiating cannot determine how a game ends up going. So I think this is a big day, a good day for the NFL. They have to be happy with that, and I think it's a good day for the players, because they are going to be really happy now that there's not so much scrutiny over, well, did you catch it, did you not catch it? I think it's going to be a lot more clear, cut, and dry for the NFL this upcoming season. Very excited. Even though it's plenty of months off, very excited for the NFL to get going again, just to be able to see how this is going to work itself out. And that's what I think this week, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful Easter weekend. We'll be back again next week, same time, same place. 2 Central, 3 Eastern, and 12 Pacific. So long, everybody.